Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we are talking about my final spring forecast thoughts. I actually have one more spring forecast coming out, and then my final forecast. But we're going to start on our final spring winter thoughts videos now. So we're seeing here, this is March. So this is upcoming. We see below average for this part of the U.S. up here. We see below average temperatures happening toward this region, all the way from Minnesota all the way down to California. So we're going to see cold temperatures possibly continuing from winter in March. So, and then we see all the warm temperatures toward the eastern part of the U.S. Here, we see very warm temperatures for most of this area. The warmest area is showing pretty much in this area, and we did see a severe weather or actually tornado outbreak yesterday. I made a video on it. We saw a tornado outbreak around this area, not like a big one, but we saw one yesterday with a few tornadoes that touched down. So I'm pretty sure. At least I've heard, at least. Because there was one in North Carolina, Georgia, and there was one near Palm City or something. I think they were all weak tornadoes, but they're tornadoes I just heard that touching around. But let's get back to the video though. We see above average though for this part of the U.S. So that's why you guys are in above average in my most recent temperature forecast. It's still showing it's going to be pretty warm. It's showing here in March it'll be pretty warm for the eastern part of the U.S. So, yeah. Let's see. April now we're moving toward. We're seeing pretty much above average now for this part of the U.S. here. Like I showed in my forecast, around this part of this area, we're seeing above average temperatures, and it's still showing that. We see above average for this part of the U.S. We still see maybe a little bit below average, not really below average, but near average up here. So we're still seeing a little bit of cold temperatures up toward that region. So yeah, we could see some severe weather around April toward this area. We'll look at the precip in just a little bit. So yeah, let's get into May now. We see actually a little bit of a cool down come in May, but this could change. This is way far out, so we can't guarantee this will happen. We see a cool down comes in for part of the eastern part of the U.S., and the western part of the U.S. gets the heat. Can't guarantee this right now, but it's possible there could be a cool down in heat for this part of the U.S. Maybe get a little break from the heat, so you might get some cool air. For this part of the U.S., you might see heat. I'll continue to watch this in the next few final spring forecast thoughts. I'll continue to bring this up. But we see above average for this part of the U.S. here now. We didn't have this area really in above average in the last forecast we had, or I put out, spring forecast. I did have a little area in here for above average, but I feel like this area will be mainly below average for most of spring, maybe by the end of spring though, becoming warm like it shows here. So now let's get into the precipitation part here. I'm going to go back to March here. We see above average for this part of the U.S. here. Just like I've said in my videos, above average is showing here in this area, and it just continues to show that it's going to be above average for this region. So I really think there will be above average precipitation for this region. It doesn't look like this has changed really much since my last forecast. I've still had mainly this area being in above average precipitation. It's mainly been in the same area. Sometimes it's a little more north or south, but it's mainly been in the same area through March, April, and May. That's why I put it in toward that region. But we see most of the eastern part of the U.S., more of northeastern part of the U.S. seeing above average above average precipitation showing on here. Some of the southeastern part of the U.S., but most of the area down there is showing it's dry. So, by the way, didn't know the green means more likely for precipitation, and then the yellow shows less likely for precipitation, just in case you didn't know. And there's a lot of above average for this area. But then we see the below average here in this area. This is where it's showing it's going to be just a little more below average. In my last forecast, I had this area mainly in below average, and it's still looking like it will be that way continuing, so that's why I continue to move the above average, continue to have it more up here, that is showing it's going to be below average down here. And then this area up here has been kind of my forecast continues to show this, sorry about that, continues to show that it will be some areas will see above average, some will see average, some will see below average. So that's why I just put them in above average. So you might see at times average, at times above, and sometimes below. But I put it as above average just because it's showing mainly above average. But I think it could be toward average. So maybe in my next forecast I might take this area off, just depending what areas here shows getting rain or above average rain possible. And then average for this area here. And then down here is showing it's going to be pretty dry. That's why I had them in the last forecast in dry, because it's showing it's going to be dry. But I think in this area here, like I said, there will be severe weather outbreaks with precipitation, warm air, so I really think there will be severe weather outbreaks, possibly big severe weather outbreaks, even probably more likely in the above average precip region right here, probably more likely for severe weather outbreaks because there will be more chances of rain and storms in that region. So we're going to have to watch that region this upcoming spring. Let's look now to April now. We see a little bit above average near Texas, a little bit above average over here too, and then we see above average for this region still. This region still continues to see above average. That's why I have this area in second layer on my last forecast I've done. It's showing that there's going to be above average in this area. We see the below average starts to move more up toward this region now, as you can see. We still are seeing quite a bit of range for this region here, showing above average to average possible. This area, this is why you guys are in the second layer of severe weather, or severe weather possibility or whatever you want to call it. Because you guys are going to see above average and warm temperatures. That's why you guys could see some severe weather outbreaks, not just the region down here. It could possibly be in this region up here with the above average precipitation. So we're going to continue to see above average precipitation for this region here. Below average for this area over here is showing to mainly below average, but at times we could see some snow at times, mountain snow around this region up here. So yeah, for parts of spring possibly. Okay, now let's move on to May here. And then we see some of that above average moves out, kind of still in some of these areas up here, but not as far south as it was. We're seeing above average for Michigan and Wisconsin, so we could see thunderstorms, severe weather possible in that region. I think it's just going to be more likely in this region though, because it's going to be dry most of the time, and you're going to get a lot of sunshine. Then frequently we'll get a severe weather outbreak or even some tornado outbreaks, and it's going to be pretty warm in this area. So I really think there will be severe weather outbreaks in this area if it's mainly dry most of the time, and then we get frequent outbreaks. So that's why I really think this area will see severe weather outbreaks. especially this area over here, because we did not see anything this last 2020. No tornado watches in some of this areas. Some of these areas did, but I mean, like, some of these areas in Tornado Alley did not. Like, I can't pull up now, I don't think, but this area did not see tornado watches. So yeah, in 2020 at all. So yeah. And then we see dry up toward this region. We see it's a little more dry now. For the first few months, it was kind of average to above average for this region. Now it's a little more below average by the end of spring, heading into summer. So yeah, we might see less mountain snow. That's why I've been putting some mountain snow, because it's been kind of staying pretty dry precip, so there probably won't be as much mountain snow with the below average precipitation. So yeah. Other than that, thank you though guys for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. We're gonna real quick actually look at one other thing on pivotal weather real quick. Their outlooks they put for Climate Prediction Center. We're gonna look at that real quick here. Oops, where'd it go? Oh, right there. Here it is. This is the 6 to 10 day. It's supposed to be actually shown. I don't know why it's prediction center. Okay, it's not one. Oh, okay, there we go. Okay, I'm going to real quick look at this because it'll show the next 3 months. So this is February through April. So this is part of the winter, but heading into spring. And this is their basically forecast for the first part of spring. They think there will be above average for this part of the U.S. here. More above average down toward this region, like usual. And then they think most of the cool air will be up toward this region up here, more below average. Then warm air going all the way up toward this region up here. So this is their forecast for the first part of spring and the end of winter. Let's look at the 3-month precipitation real quick before we end today's video. And we see it's mainly in the same area as it showed. We were showing in the first part of, or as we were showing in today's video. We see precipitation coming all the way down here toward this region. Because we're gonna see quite a bit of precipitation. I think toward this region, this area will be the most likely area for the most precipitation showing. Especially what they're saying right toward this region. I think anywhere in this region will see the most precipitation this upcoming spring. And then you see this area actually does not, some above average, but not really dry. It's not showing. So there could be some severe weather toward this region, possibly. You see this area shows it's gonna be dry here, but like I said, I think there could be some frequent like severe weather outbreaks, so we would have to watch that closely. And then dry conditions for this area over here, showing it's gonna be pretty dry. So yeah, and down here too. And then above average up here, as we showed, like the March and April, it showed it's going to be above average, but then May it shows it's going to be a little more below average, so it might be near average, probably. I would say right now this goes from February to April, so they're saying right now above average up toward that region, and I kind of agree with that, but I would only put one layer out for that area because it's showing some areas average, some areas above average, some areas below average, so that's why. Thank you though guys for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. We will have we've had one spring forecast last week. We plan on having one in probably a week or two, or another spring forecast, and then our final one will be coming out probably around mid-March, probably a few days before actual spring. So that'll be my final forecast. We'll continue make these kind of videos too, our spring thoughts videos. But this is the first final